Welcome back to our biology session, children. Some of our students, they requested to teach transportation in plants. So today let us go with the topic transportation in plants. The simple process diffusion is helpful for transportation in plants. If you take the example photosynthesis, what happens in photosynthesis? Food is synthesized in the leaves with the help of chlorophyll present in it and carbon dioxide and water. So this carbon dioxide enters into the leaves through the process diffusion. Then this carbon dioxide is fixed into carbohydrates. And what about the byproduct oxygen that is also sent out through the process diffusion into the air through stomata. Okay. Now, if we talk about food, along with food, even water and minerals are helpful for growth of the plant. How does the plant get its minerals? Where are these minerals present? Minerals like nitrogen, phosphorus and all. These are present in the soil. So soil is the nearest and richest source of these minerals. Okay. Now, if we talk about the movement of plants, they are stationary. Plants are stationary, and at the same time they have dead cells in them. Most of the cells are dead in the plants. This says that they need very low energy. Okay. As a result, what happens? Even the transport system will be low. Okay. And one more point. We know that food is synthesized in the leaves and it has to reach the soil. And we know that minerals are taken from the soil to reach the leaves. For this, if the distance between the leaves and the roots is more, then the simple diffusion process is not sufficient. So, this says plants need proper transport system. Let us learn about it now. What are the main components in this transport system? You have already learned in 9th class. The complex tissues, xylem and phloem are the main components here. Okay. So plants have two independent pathways in the form of conducting tubes that help in transport of water and minerals and even food. And what are those tissues helpful for this transportation? Xylem and phloem. Xylem helps in transport of water and minerals, and phloem helps in transport of food. Okay. Now, let us see more about this xylem and phloem. Yes. Xylem. In 9th you learnt about complex tissues. So this xylem and phloem, these both are also called as conducting tissues or vascular bundles. Here, if you see xylem elements, xylem has 4 types of cells. What are they? Xylem vessels, xylem tracheids, xylem fiber and even xylem parenchyma. So these xylem vessels and xylem tracheids, they play a major role as actually they help in transportation of water and minerals in the plant. And these are dead cells. The walls of these cells are made up of cellulose, and these are impregnated with lignin protein. This lignin is very hard substance, so that gives strength and support to these tissues. Okay. Then coming to xylem fibers, they just give mechanical strength. And what about xylem parenchyma? Parenchyma stores food, isn't it? So here also xylem parenchyma helps in storing food material. This is about xylem. If you go with phloem, phloem also has 4 cells. What are they? Seed tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fiber. Okay. Here sieve tubes, you can see the long channel here which helps in easy transport of food. These sieve tubes have too many cells, you can see here. These cells are aligned end to end to form long sieve tubes, and these are running up and down the plant. So it forms the channel for the transport of food. And sieve tubes have perforated ends. Perforated means porous. So these are called as sieve plates. These sieve tubes, they have perforated end walls which are called as sieve plates. These are helpful in passage of food material. And adjacent to that you can see companion cells. These companion cells are present on either side of the sieve tubes, and these help in development of sieve tube and transport of food material. So sieve tube along with companion cell plays major role in conduction of food material in the plants. If you come to phloem parenchyma, again it is helpful only for storage of food. And phloem fiber, it gives mechanical support to the tissue. So we learned that xylem is helpful in conduction of water and minerals. Let us see how it is. You can see the diagram here. This xylem tissue, it has interconnected vessels and tracheids of roots, stem and leaves. Can you see here? These tissues have interconnected vessels and tracheids of roots, stem and leaves. So they form continuous system of water conducting channels, very clearly given here. Okay, they form continuous system of water conducting channels, due to which it reaches to all the parts of the plant. So for this taking up of water from soil, the part of the plant which is nearer to the soil, what is in contact with the soil? Obviously it is root. Root is in directly contact with the soil. So here this root hair helps in taking up of water and minerals. What happens actually? At roots, cells are in contact with soil that they take up actively these ions from the soil. These root hairs, the cells which are present in root hair, they actively take up ions from this soil. Now this creates the difference in the concentration of these ions between soil and root. So due to which some pressure is exerted in this root, which we call as root pressure. So here, what is that physical force? Root pressure. As root pressure is formed, water enters into the root to make concentration equal, because there is some difference in the ions and water here. So to make it equal, water enters into the root. So if you see here, there is steady movement of water into root xylem from soil, creating a column here. Okay, slowly the water starts moving, steady movement of water into the root xylem from the soil, creating a column of water. This column pushes the water forward. So this root, can you see here? As the root some pressure is exerted in the roots, it starts pushing the water forward, due to which the channel is formed. Okay, this is how water and minerals start moving forward. But this simple root pressure is not sufficient for the tall trees, because the distance is more from the soil and the from the root to the leaves or from the soil to the leaves. So here plant goes with the other strategy which we call as transpiration pull. What is this transpiration? You all are aware of that definition, isn't it? So transpiration is nothing but the loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial parts like stem or leaves of the plant is called transpiration. And this transpiration takes place through the stomata present on the leaves. And you know one thing, stomata, the presence of stomata is different from monocot and dicot plants, isn't it? What happens in monocot? These stomata are present on both the sides. If you come to dicot, they are present only on the lower side. Okay, so here the stomata which are present on the leaves, they are helpful in transpiration because they send excess water through it. This is what called as transpiration. But what is that mechanism taking place here? Why we are calling it as transpiration pull? See, the water which is lost through this stomata is replaced by the water from the xylem vessels entering into the leaves. Because we learned that there is interconnection between all roots, stem and leaves. The xylem tissue has interconnected vessels and tracheates. So it forms the continuous channel for bringing up water. This helps here. So the water which is lost in the leaves through stomata and transpiration, it is replaced by the water coming up through the xylem tissue or xylem vessels. So this creates a transpiration pull. Because what is happening? This pulling force is produced when water evaporates from the leaves to the stomata. That pulling force is giving some suction pressure here. The water is sucking up. In the same way how you drink from the bottle using straw, here the transpiration pull is also done in the same way. This force is similar to someone sucking up liquid through a straw. Okay, so this is what we call as transpiration pull. With the help of this transpiration pull, the water and minerals from the soil moves to the aerial parts, that is leaves. Okay children, this is what about transpiration pull. We learned about two forces. One is root pressure and the other one transpiration pull. These are physical forces. But what are the advantages of this transpiration? Why is it needed? One thing we learned here, upward movement of water and minerals by creating transpiration pull. It helps in the absorption, isn't it? So the transpiration is helpful in upward movement of water and minerals by creating a transpiration pull. And it also helps in temperature regulation. As the water vapors move into the atmosphere, it gives some cooling effect. So it is also helpful in temperature regulation. And it maintains a constant supply of ions to the leaves. It is also helpful in giving constant supply of ions to the leaves. Okay, so these are the advantages of transpiration. Now, we learnt about transport of water and minerals. What about food? Transport of food in the plant, we also call it as translocation. Okay, so the transport of soluble products from the leaves to the parts of the plant is termed as translocation. What is happening here in this mechanism? Plants, they transport sugar through phloem, that is through sieve tube. You see here the sugar which is actively formed here, it is transported to sieve tube, which is also the element of the phloem. So when along with this, even the water is moved into this phloem by osmosis. So how does it happen here? Translocation of food actually requires energy in the form of ATP. Okay. So when it needs ATP, when the energy is needed in the form of ATP, there is some osmotic pressure increasing in the xylem tissue, which in turn takes water to move into it by osmosis. Okay. So when some pressure is exerted, that is osmotic pressure increased in this xylem tissue, it in turn takes water. It allows water to move into it. So with the help of the food is transported from high pressure to low pressure areas of phloem tissue. So wherever the plant needs, it moves. So translocation, when osmotic pressure increased in the phloem tissue, it in turn allows the water to move into it by osmosis. Then what happened? Higher water pressure at the source forces and the phloems have to move forward to sink. So when pressure is more, the food material moves forward to sink down. Okay. Now, hope you understood how this translocation takes place. Now look at the diagram here. I'll just zoom it. You can see this. Okay, so you can see the clear picture here. So the food is transported from high pressure to low pressure areas of phloem tissue according to the plant's requirement. Now, why is this translocation important? Because every part of the plant requires food for maintaining life, obtaining energy and building its body parts. Same like human beings, how we take 5 elements: carbohydrates, fats, proteins, minerals and vitamins. In the same way, plants also need minerals and even food for maintaining life, obtaining energy and building its body parts. So the phloem moves material to tissue with low pressure. From high pressure, it is moving to low pressure according to the needs of the plant. The food is sent. Okay. Now, if you take one example, in spring season, the buds require more energy because they are in growing stage. You know, growing stage needs more and more energy. So, in the same way, buds require more energy. Hence, the sugar which is stored in stem and roots is sent to bud through this phloem tissue. Understood now? Next. So you understood that transportation of food, which is also called as translocation, is done by phloem tissue with the help of companion cells and seed tubes. And transport of water and minerals is done by xylem tissue with the help of xylem tracheids and xylem vessels. What are the main differences now between xylem and phloem? Let us see. Xylem tissue helps in transport of water and minerals. Phloem tissue helps in transport of food. And water is transported upwards from roots to aerial parts of plants. So here the direction is unidirectional. The movement of water and minerals from roots to upper parts of the plant. So only in one direction, moving only in the upper direction. But when we come to phloem, food is transported in both upward and downward directions to reach all the parts of the plant. Okay. And here, transport in xylem requires physical forces. What are those physical forces? Transpiration, pull, and even root pressure. When you come to phloem, transport of food in phloem requires energy in the form of ATP. Okay children, it's a very small topic. As you have requested, I took this topic today. Hope you all understood. Thank you children.